What's good, y'all? Rich Sosa back in a building with another banger. Now, first things first, before we go ahead and get started today, I gotta say thank God for another day and another opportunity. Now, as y'all can see from the looks of the title and the screen, man, I got a build for y'all today. So I'm gonna be showing y'all the secondary ball handler build in NBA 2K24 on next gen, and this one is going to be one of the best that we have ever seen as of recent and the past. So today's build is going to be very unique and all around rare build. It's also going to have elite defense, and the offense is perfect, more than enough for my liking. As for the ball handle, that's definitely going to be its best attribute, and as for attributes itself, the ones that can get a 100 plus, it's going to be our ball handle, speed with ball, steal, block, and perimeter defense. Now, out of all NBA players, today this one's going to be reminding me of Draymond Green. As for badges, we're going to be able to get Hall of Fame Pro Touch, Gold Giant Slayer, Aerial Wizard Scooper, Float Game Spin Cycle, Two-Step Ankle Breaker, Triple Strike, Physical Handles. This build has everything that you need, not only on the playmaking side of things, but also on the finishing. So look, before we get any further into this video, and if it's your first time coming through, be sure to hit that sub button if you're new, smash that like button, turn on post notifications to be a part of the Rich family, and last but definitely not least, comment down TG for Thank God King Jesus and where you're tuning in from, and I most definitely will be sure to get back to y'all with a response. So the first thing that we need to do to get started with today's build creation is making sure that, of course, we put it under the power forward position. Now, if you want to, you can go ahead and try to create it out of the small forward, shooting guard, or even point, but for my better interest, I really do believe that the power forward will be best. Now, the height today, I'm going to go with 6'7". Moving to the weight, I'm going to go with 225 with a 7'4" wingspan. Now from here, we're all set to move forward with this build today, and the first area that I want to go after is going to be the physicals. Now I believe this really sets us up to move forward with this build, and it gives us a better idea not only of what we're going to be able to do, but what this build is going to be able to unlock along the way. So for the stamina, I'm going to go ahead and put this up to a 94. Moving to the vertical, put this to a 74, and everything on this build is very specific for attributes as well as badges. Now for the strength, I'm going to go ahead and put this to the same exact as the vertical. Moving on to the acceleration, go with the 75. And as for that speed, I'm going to go ahead and put this up to an 81. Now this looks perfectly and checks out good with me. If you want to change anything for these physicals, go ahead and do so, but it's really going to alter the build moving forward. Now it has to be very specific as far as for attributes to maintain the secondary ball handler name. Now for the defensive rebound, I'm going to go with the 60. As for the offensive, put this up to a 69. Now as for that block, I decided to go ahead and put this to an 80. And as for the steal, I'm going to go with an 81. Now the perimeter defense is actually going to be really strong on this build, so go ahead and put it up to an 85. And to wrap it up for the defensive end, this interior will be up to a 63. Now look, for these badges that we did unlock so far, a lot of silver for the perimeter. As for the steal and the block, I think we have some pretty good ones as well. Now for the defensive rebounding and the offensive, this is going to set us apart a lot from a lot of smaller builds. Now moving to the playmaking, go with an 80 as for the speed with ball. For the ball handle, I decided to go ahead and put this up to an 85. Now if you want to go the route to max everything out for the playmaking, you can do so, but I'm telling you, that's not the way you want to move if you want to get the most bang for your buck. Now for the pass accuracy, I'm going to go with the 77. And right there, as you can see for the playmaking side of things, the badges that I like most are Triple Strike, the silver ones here like Speed Booster, Blow By, and also Hyperdrive. Then on top of that, we get a good amount of gold ones. Now to move forward with this build on the shooting end, I'm going to go ahead and put my free throw up to an 81. As for that 3-point shot, this comes down to how you see it fit. So I'm going to go with the 77, and this is definitely manageable, and you can easily green with this on any game mode. Now for the mid-range shot, go ahead and put this 10 ticks up to a 72. Then right there, this is what we're going to be looking like for the shooting side of things. So we get a good amount of silver badges, and the bronze ones, I'm telling y'all, This really allows us to space the floor and take this build into any game mode with this free throw. Now right now, let me know, what do you think about this build so far? Is there anything that you would change or adjust, and what would you do to make it even better if you see something fit yourself? Now as for the finishing, I'm going to go ahead and put the close shot up to a 60, and if you feel the need to make it more of a post scorer type, go ahead and change this to your own liking, but the build name may change. Now the driving layup, I'm going to go with an 80. As for that driving dunk, I decided to go ahead and put this to the same exact thing. That's going to allow us to unlock certain dunk packages. And then as for the ball handle, that's exactly the reason why I am going with certain numbers, not only to maintain animations, but get the best out of this build overall. Now for these badges, we still do get Pro Touch on Hall of Fame, Spot Finder, Gold Giant Slayer, Fearless Finisher, which is one of my favorites. Now one minor adjustment that I'm going to throw at y'all, go ahead and put the block up to an 80. And this right there should allow us to max this build out. We get Bronze Anchor, Puggle Stick, and then Silver, Chase Down Artist. Now in my opinion, for being a 6-7 build, you have everything that you need. The ability to finish on the inside, not too much needed for the post scoring end. You have the ability to shoot inside and out, take this build into the rack. As for the playmaking side, you can just about ISO anybody, move at a high rate when it comes to speed, and as for when it comes to the defensive end, you can defend a lot on the inside if you go ahead and pair this up with a block. As for that interior and perimeter, I think this is a pretty nice balance overall. Now for the rebounding, I think our speed is really going to make up for this, especially with the height that we're at. And then as for these physicals, do take into consideration the +4 that we get from the Gatorade workouts or the gym rat badge. Now also the same can be said for these attributes if you buy boosts, whether it's from your takeovers or even gear, possibly running with certain teammates that have certain badges. It all comes down to what you're personally doing with your build. So let's go ahead and move forward to make sure that we made this one correctly. And if you followed every single step of the way, we should be getting these 3 comparisons. And now as y'all can see together, we have created the first ever secondary ball handler build in NBA 2K24 on next gen. Now I just want to say thank y'all so much for the support. More so than anything, thank God for another day and another opportunity. Now as you can see, with this build maxed out and all of the boosts that I previously just mentioned, it's going to give you a clear idea of what you should expect this build to look like at a maxed out 99 overall. Now if it was your first time coming through, be sure to hit that sub button if you're new, smash that like button, turn on post notifications to be a part of the rich family, and last but definitely not least, comment down TG for Thank God King Jesus and where you're tuning in from, and I most definitely will be sure to get back to y'all with the response. And with all that being said though, I got one last thing to say. Rich out.